Oh my God, this guy is unbelievable. He applied for a welder's job asking for salary of $20,000. The boss said, if you can process spiral patterns inside a steel tube with an inner diameter of 5.48 millimeters, the salary won't be an issue. Without saying much, the man got a hex key with a 5.55 millimeter diameter to use as the punch for creating the spiral pattern. However, the bent section of the key was in the way, so he used an angle grinder to cut it off, leaving a piece of material for the punch. The diameter of the hex key was slightly smaller than needed, so he had to enlarge it to around 5.6 millimeters. To achieve this, he heated the material and used a hammer to compress both ends, causing the material to deform and expand until it reached the required size. As long as it was over 5.6 millimeters, it was good to go. Next, he clamped the material in a vise and heated it with a blowtorch. This step involved rotating the material by about 5 degrees to ensure that the spiral pattern would form properly during the punching process. Once the rotation was just right, he trimmed off any excess material. The next step was to grind the punch into a tapered shape. Then he mounted it on the chuck of a lathe and used a file to create a small groove in the middle, which would act as a chip removal channel for the threading process. Afterward, he hardened the punch by quenching it to increase its durability. With all the preparations complete, the man began hammering the punch into the steel tube with great force. Since the punch was short, he had to use another steel rod to drive it further. This process required extreme precision. One wrong move could ruin everything. During the punching, the end of the steel tube became deformed, so he mounted it back on the lathe and smoothed the surface with a cutting tool. Finally, he cleaned the inner wall of the steel tube, removing any debris left inside. And just like that, a steel tube with a spiral pattern created using a hex key was complete. The boss took one look and hired the man on the spot. Now, do you think the boss made a profit or a loss?